Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager, in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, the flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 Attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. Hello, I am McGoobage, and this is part 17 of my tactical test series, testing 4 of the most popular tactics on the forums with every single one of the Premier League teams. Started off with the top 6 and then we're working down alphabetically. Today it's the turn of Southampton. So if you've never seen one of these videos before, what we do is we set the staff up, as you can see here, to control everything. So they're in control of all the hiring and firing, transfers, contracts, and most importantly the assistant manager controls all the training. Also tactical briefings the assistant manager is in control of, and I'm literally going to set the team up. I'm going to go on holiday. I'm going to specify that they need to try and stick to the tactical formation and the players as much as possible, and then go on holiday for a season and find out exactly how the club gets on. As I say, this is part 17 and we're going to go straight into tactic number 1. So tactic number 1 is the Beowulf by Knap. It's the Tipler set tick-attacker 4-2-3-1 wide, and it's attacking. So in possession, it's shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box, overlap on both sides with your fullbacks, slightly lower tempo. Transition, take short kicks, distribute to fullbacks, counter press, and out of possession you defend narrower, higher defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent. You prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. You ask your players to get stuck in using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. Now it's also worth pointing out here that what I do is I pick the players based on their abilities and the strongest abilities within that squad. Now some of the players won't naturally fit the positions they're in, but they are the strongest players, and for consistency throughout the course of this series, that's what we're going to do with every single team. So for this tactic, you've got a goalkeeper on defend gun. You've got 2 wing-backs on attack, Bertrand and Cedric, with Vestergaard and Holt as the ball-playing defenders on defend. Romeo is a deep line playmaker on support. Lamina, box-to-box support. 2 inside forwards, Bufal and Elionusi, inside forwards on support, Ward-Prowse is the advanced attacking midfielder on attack, with Austin advanced forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, so we've been sacked in the first season, the first tactic. So we were sacked when Southampton were in 16th position. Let's have a look when they sacked us. Okay, we were sacked on the 2nd of February. So let's go to the schedule and see what happened. So, started off the Premier League by losing to Brighton at home. Drew with Newcastle, then beat Burnley convincingly, and then Coventry in the EFL Cup second round 4-2. Premier League, drew with Cardiff, drew with Man City, thumped by Liverpool 6-0. Beat Crewe EFL Cup third round, and then drew with Bournemouth Premier League. October, beat Crystal Palace, lost to Tottenham. Beat Leicester, lost to EFL Cup fourth round with Everton. November, not a good month. Drew with Watford, drew with Wolves, drew with West Ham, lost to Huddersfield. Oh dear, it gets worse. December, drew with Arsenal, lost to Everton and Chelsea, drew with Brighton, beat Fulham and lost to Man United. Into January, drew with Newcastle, thumped Sunderland 5-1 FA Cup third round, lost to Burnley, lost to Cardiff, lost to Newcastle FA Cup fourth round, lost to Man City Premier League, then lost at home 5-3 to Liverpool, and that was when we were sacked. So, only 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 victories in the Premier League up until February. Loads of draws, quite a few defeats. So let's just have a look. The rest of the season was played out. Only 2 more wins. Heavy defeats at Bournemouth, Tottenham. They beat Wolves and Watford. Lost to Arsenal, lost to Chelsea. And they finished, Southampton, 17th, just above relegation. Let's go back and have a look at the players. Average ratings. Players that played the most. Lamina, 32, 7 goals, 3 assists, 6.98. Ward-Prowse, 6.97, 38, 6 and 8. Holt was 6.95, 7 goals and 40 appearances. And Romo was 6.94. Disappointing. That's tactic number 1. Okay, so this is tactic number 2. It's a minimal fastidious tactic, the 4-1-4-1 DM wide. It's positive and it's the tactic with the least instructions. So in possession, shorter passing, play out of defence, work the ball into the box, lower tempo and waste time. In transition, you roll it out, distribute to the fullbacks, counter and counter press. And out of possession, it's a high defensive line with short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. Sweeper keeper on defend, gun. 2 wing-backs on support, Bertrand and Cedric, with Vestergaard and Holt as central defenders on defend. Oyeromu plays as defensive midfielder on defend. Ward-Prowse is the box-to-box midfielder on support. Lamina is Mezzala on attack. Boufal and El Yunusi are inside forwards on support, with Austin the deep line forward on attack this time. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, so Southampton finished 8th and only 1 position outside the Europa League place. Crystal Palace finished 7th. So Arsenal won the league, believe it or not. Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Chelsea, Palace, Southampton. 14 wins from 38 games, 9 draws, 15 defeats. So it was a good season. Let's have a look at the schedule. So Premier League, beat Brighton first game of the season, then beat Newcastle. Lost to Burnley but beat Birmingham EFL Cup second round. Lost to Cardiff, thumped Man City 6-0, but Fabian Delph was sent off after 4 minutes, but they thumped them 6-0, fantastic result. Then lost to Liverpool Premier League, but beat Huddersfield EFL Cup third round. Then beat Bournemouth in the Premier League. Lost to Crystal Palace, beat Tottenham, lost to Leicester, but then beat Preston EFL Cup fourth round. Drew with Watford, lost to Wolves, lost to West Ham in November. So into December now. Beat Huddersfield, lost to Arsenal, beat Everton, drew with Chelsea, beat Man United, EFL Cup quarter final. Great result. Lost to Brighton, unfortunately. Beat Fulham, then a heavy defeat to Man United, who took revenge after the Cup quarter final. Into January now. Beat Newcastle, beat Sunderland, FA Cup third round. Lost the EFL Cup first semi-final first leg at home to Man City. Beat Burnley, beat Cardiff, then lost the away leg, EFL Cup semi-final. So knocked out in that round. Then they drew with Watford in the FA Cup fourth round. Drew with Man City Premier League, lost to Liverpool. Beat Watford, FA Cup fourth round replay. They lost to Bournemouth, drew with Man City FA Cup fifth round. Beat Crystal Palace, then beat Man City in the replay away 2-1. Drew with Leicester, drew with Watford, beat Wolves, lost the FA Cup sixth round to Chelsea. And then there was a run without any victories until the last game in April. They lost to West Ham, drew with Huddersfield, lost to Arsenal and Tottenham, drew with Everton, drew with Chelsea, drew with Man United, beat Fulham. So you can see where they dropped points. I guess you can say that the tactic was inconsistent for Southampton. Average ratings. So Vestergaard 7.13 from 44 games. Ward-Prowse 7.10 from 46. Holt was 7.07 from 50. Bertrand 6.99 from 44. And let's have a look. Gunn in goal 6.96 from 50. Goals, Lamina 13 from 49 with 1 assist. Let's have a look. Elyounoussi got 9 from 49 and 8, with Ward-Prowse 7 from 46 and 10 assists. Disappointing stats, player stats, but Southampton did well. They finished 8th in the Premier League, and I think they'll take that all day long. That's tactic number 2. So tactic number 3 is Rossler's Steadfast 4-1-4-1 formation. It's with a DM, it's attacking. In possession, it's shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box. But you focus play for the middle of the pitch. In transition, take short kicks, counter press. Out of possession, you defend narrower with a higher defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent. You prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. Use of the offside trap. So there's no man marking or closing down. As you can see, it's 4-1-4-1 DM. Guns a sweeper keeper on defend. Your wing-backs are complete wing-backs on attack this time, Bertrand and Cedric. Centre-backs on defend, Vestergaard and Holt. Romu is a half-back this time on defend. 2 wide midfielders, Buffal and Elyounoussi, are wide midfielders on attack. Your 2 central midfielders are box-to-box on support, Ward-Prowse and Lamina, with Austin as a false 9 this time up front on support. Let's see how this one plays out. Southampton finished 6th and they finished in the Europa League. And look at this, they finished 3 points off of the Champions League. Outstanding performance. 21 wins from 38 games, 5 defeats, 12 draws. Brilliant. Chelsea won the league, Man City was 2nd, Liverpool were 3rd, Tottenham 4th, Arsenal 5th, Southampton 6th, Man United 7th. Let's have a look at the schedule. So there should be some good unbeaten runs in. There is. Look at this. So they beat Brighton first game of the season, then drew with Newcastle, beat Burnley, thumped Forest, EFL Cup second round, then beat Cardiff. So a good 5-game opening stint. Oh dear. Lost to Man City, and then look at this. They got thumped 8-0 away at Liverpool. Wow. EFL Cup, third round, beat Walsall, and then lost to Bournemouth in the Premier League. But then look at this. There's another run of 9 games unbeaten here. October, beat Crystal Palace, beat Tottenham, beat Leicester, beat Chelsea, EFL Cup fourth round. Beat Watford, drew with Wolves, beat West Ham, beat Huddersfield and then beat Arsenal. Then were defeated to Everton, so that was the first defeat in 10 games. But then if you carry this forward, they beat Chelsea, they beat Yeovil, EFL Cup quarter final, beat Brighton and Fulham. So that's 4, 7, 10, 14 games. 1 defeat in 14 games in all competition and only 1 draw. That's 12 victories, which is outstanding. Finished off December by losing to Man United in the Premier League. And then another good run in January this time with 1 defeat, 2 draws and 5 wins. Started with Newcastle in the Premier League, then beat Man City, FA Cup third round, then beat them again away in the EFL Cup semi-final first leg. Drew with Burnley, beat Cardiff, drew with Man City at home, EFL Cup semi-final to go through to the final of the Cup. Then thumped West Brom 6-1 FA Cup fourth round. lost to Man City heavily in the Premier League. So, to February, they beat Liverpool, lost to Bournemouth, thumped Liverpool, FA Cup, 5th round. Then beat Crystal Palace in the Premier League. They lost the EFL Cup final to West Ham. But they got to the final, which is important. Drew with Tottenham into March. Drew with Leicester, lost to Watford, lost the FA Cup 6th round to Chelsea. But then beat West Ham. Into April, they beat Wolves, they beat Huddersfield, lost to Arsenal, beat Everton, and then lost the final 3 games of the season, which denied them the Champions League. They lost to Chelsea, Man United and Fulham. So you can see where it began to fall apart at the end of the season there. Player ratings. Players that played the majority of the season. Bertrand, 7.23. Elyounoussi, 7.21. Lamina, 7.15. Romu, 7.11. And Ward-Prowse, 7.07. Goals. Elyounoussi, 14 from 49 and 16 assists. Lamina, 12 from 46 and 5. Romu, 8 from 46 and 5. Charlie Austin, 8 from 34 and 3. So as you can see, there's not many goals spread around that team. I mean, there's 5 players in double figures, we'll give them that. But what a good season. They got to the EFL Cup final. They finished 6th and qualified for the Europa League. That's Southampton, Tactic 3. So to the final tactic, and it's the FM Scout Catenaccio. It's the 4-2-3-1 wide. Very similar to the first tactic, but in this instance you're asked to focus play down each flank rather than ask your fullbacks to overlap. That's the difference. So, in possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box. Focus play down both sides, slightly lower tempo. In transition, you distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press. And out of possession, defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. Extremely urgent, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. You get stuck in. Using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. As we said, it's 4-2-3-1 wide. Guns the goalkeeper on defend. Wing backs are Bertrand and Cedric on attack. Ball playing defenders Vestergaard and Holt. Romu's deep line playmaker on support. Lamina box to box on support. Ward-Prowse is the attacking midfielder on attack with 2 inside forwards on support. Boufal and Elyounoussi. Austin is the advanced forward on attack again. Let's see how this one plays out. So, Southampton finished in the Europa League again. This time they finished 7th, 1 point behind United in 6th. They were some way off of the Champions League this time. Still a great performance. Liverpool won the league, City was 2nd, Tottenham 3rd, Chelsea 4th, Arsenal 5th and Man United 6th. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, they started off by thumping Brighton 5-0 in the Premier League, then beat Newcastle, drew with Burnley, beat Norwich 4-0 EFL Cup 2nd round. September, lost to Cardiff, beat Man City. They then lost away to Liverpool, beat Fulham at home EFL Cup 3rd round, before losing to Bournemouth in the Premier League. October, drew with Crystal Palace, lost to Tottenham, beat Leicester and beat Mansfield EFL Cup 4th round. 3 games unbeaten in November, they beat Wolves and Watford and West Ham in the Premier League. Into December, drew with Huddersfield, lost to Arsenal, lost to Everton, beat Chelsea and lost to Chelsea on penalties in the EFL Cup quarter final. Beat Brighton, drew with Fulham, lost to Man United. 1 defeat in January with 1 draw and 4 wins. Drew with Newcastle, beat Oxford FA Cup 3rd round, beat Burnley Premier League, Cardiff Premier League, beat Newcastle FA Cup 4th round before losing to Man City. Into February now, lost to Liverpool in the Premier League, beat Bournemouth, beat Leeds FA Cup 5th round, drew with Crystal Palace and then lost to Tottenham Premier League. Into March, they drew with Leicester, they beat Watford, beat Wolves, lost the FA Cup 6th round to Liverpool, lost heavily away to West Ham in the Premier League. In April, they beat Huddersfield, lost to Arsenal, beat Everton, drew with Chelsea, drew with Man United and lost to Fulham. So again, you can see where these points are going at the end of the season. But still, good performance. They finished 7th in the Europa League. Let's have a look at player-wise, ratings. So, Hope 7.01, he played majority of the season. Ward-Prowse 6.98, Romu 6.96, Lamina 6.95 and Elyounoussi 6.94. Goals. Let's have a look. Gabbiadini was rotating in the squad and scored 17 and 27. Elyounoussi 11 in 46 with 11 assists. Ward-Prowse 8 from 43 and 12 assists. Lamina 6 from 42 and 3. So player performance wise wasn't great, but they finished 7th and qualified for the Europa League. So that's been it. That's tactic number 4, and that's all the tactics for Southampton. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. As you can see, the 4 tactics with varying levels of success. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel. And please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics to see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.